257 applications, dozens of rejections, one 3 a.m. almost quit moment I posted for the entire world to see. And then, on a regular Thursday, coffee going cold, inbox full of things that didn't matter, I saw a subject line I had stopped believing would ever come. Landstuhl Regional Medical Center, tentative job offer. Y'all, I didn't open that email for a full 7 minutes. I just sat there, hand on the mouse, heart beating so loud I could hear it in my ears. Because sometimes the thing you've prayed for is the scariest thing in your inbox. Let's talk about it. Hey y'all, I'm Vanessa, and this is Waves of Change, where we talk about what it really looks like to start over with faith, strategy, and a whole lot of it's all figure outable. If you've been riding this wave with me, you know the series, Starting Over at 59, has been documenting every single step of my overseas job hunt. Not the highlight reel, the actual thing. Part 1, I told you why I was doing this. Why Germany? Why now? Why not later? Part 2, I showed you the 3 a.m. moment, the one I almost quit, on camera, in the dark, because I needed you to see that even people who keep going almost don't. And Part 3, the silence, the in-between season, 47 applications, no responses, and the one phone call from Landstuhl that made the silence even louder, not quieter. Part 4, what I learned about my body while I was waiting, how I stopped moving, how I found Zumba class and an instructor that looked at me and said, just keep moving your feet. And now Part 5, y'all. The part I wasn't sure would ever come. I got the job offer. Let me read you what it said. Not the personal details, but the shape of it. Congratulations, you have been selected for the position of health educator at Landstuhl Regional Medical Center, Germany. This is a tentative job offer. Tentative. That word hit different than I expected. Because here's what nobody explains when you're applying for federal overseas jobs. And I need you to hear this if you're in this hunt with me. A tentative offer is not a final offer. It's not a plane ticket. It's not a start date. It's the government's way of saying, you're the one. Now prove you're the one. Think about it. After hundreds of applications, after months of refreshing an inbox, after one interview that went well, I told y'all it went really good. I got the email. And the email said almost, but not yet. And there's still a background investigation, a medical clearance, a credential verification. Every one of those could theoretically stop the process. Now let me tell you something I wasn't ready for. I knew about these steps intellectually. I work in the federal system. I understand the process. But knowing it in your head and feeling it in your chest are two completely different things. Because when that email landed, part of me wanted to call everybody, post it on every social media platform, scream it from the rooftop of this half-completed tiny house. And another part of me, a quieter, wiser part, said, wait, let it breathe. Let it become real before you give it away. So I sat with it for days. Days, y'all. And here's what I learned in those days. I expected joy, and joy came. I didn't expect grief, but grief came too. Let me explain. Because this is a part of starting over that the highlight reel skip. The joy was obvious. Somebody saw me. At 59 years old, after a gazillion applications, after enough rejection emails to wallpaper my bathroom, somebody looked at my resume and said yes, or at least yes pending. That's real. That's not nothing. I let myself feel it. But then, late at night, when the house was quiet, something else crept in. A kind of sadness I wasn't prepared for. Because saying yes to Germany means saying goodbye to versions of my life I'm not ready to release. My siblings, my daughter, who's still here in the States, my mom, The familiar 25-minute peaceful drive to work, the one where I know every turn, every stoplight, every tree that blooms in spring. Saturday brunches with the people who've known me the longest. The grocery store where I know every aisle, the familiar, the known stuff. And then, y'all, I felt guilty that my waiting ended while so many of you are still in yours. I got comments on part 3 and 4 from women who said, I'm still refreshing my inbox, Vanessa. I'm still in the silence. And I'm sitting here holding a tentative yes, almost apologizing for it. But here's what I've realized. Let me say something I wasn't planning on saying. Nobody warns you that receiving is harder than waiting. Waiting is passive. You just endure it. You wake up. You check your inbox, you pray, you apply, you wait. It's hard, don't get me wrong, but it's simple. There's one job, endure. Receiving? Receiving asks you to show up, to be worthy of the yes, to walk through a door you spent so long staring at that you almost forgot it could actually open. And that's terrifying, because when the door opens, you can't just stand in the doorway forever. Eventually, you have to walk through it. I want to take you to a verse that's been holding me together this week. Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Wherever you go. Do you understand what's happening in that verse? Joshua is about to lead Israel into a land they've never seen. They've been wandering for 40 years. The promised land is right over there, across the river. And they're terrified. And God doesn't say, don't worry, I'll make it easy. He says, be strong and courageous. I'll be with you. That's the part I've been sitting with. He doesn't promise the background check will clear. He doesn't promise the medical exam will go smoothly. He doesn't promise Germany will feel like home on day one. He promises his presence. And y'all, I think that's supposed to be enough. I spent so much energy learning how to walk in faith. Though it tarries, wait for it. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, I quoted in part 3, like it was my job. And it sustained me. It really did. But you also have to learn how to receive in faith. How to walk through a door without looking back at the waiting room and wondering if you deserve to leave. Because the waiting room becomes familiar. Silence becomes a kind of comfort. You know what to expect from silence. I don't know what to expect from Germany. I asked God to open a door. I didn't ask him to make me brave enough to walk through it. Turns out, that part's on me. Now let's be real for a minute. Let's talk about what this actually cost. Because starting over at 59 isn't a Pinterest board. It's not an inspirational quote on a sunset background. It's leaving people you love. It's spending money you could have saved. It's walking into a country where you don't speak the language. I'm working on it though, but I'm not ready for a debate club. And hoping you don't look as scared as you feel. My siblings, my youngest daughter, my mom, they're not moving to Germany. They're staying here. And I'll call and I'll visit, and it won't be the same. My sister, the one who dragged me to Zumba, she's not coming with me. The life I've built here, the rhythms, the relationships, the version of myself that people know, I'm leaving that woman behind. Or at least I'm asking her to become something new. And here's what I've noticed. When you tell people you're moving to Germany for a federal job, they say the same 3 things. That's amazing. And it is. You're so brave. And sometimes I am. I can never do that. And here's where I need to stop. Don't say you could never do it. Because a year ago, I would have said the same thing. A year ago, I was watching somebody else's I Got the Job video, wondering if it would ever be me. The only difference between the woman who gets the email and the woman who doesn't is that one of them stopped applying. That's it. That's the whole secret. The woman who sent that first application 14 months ago, she didn't believe she'd get here. She hoped. She prayed. She whispered, "This one is yours, big dog," over every submission. But she didn't believe, not really, not deep down where belief lives. This woman, the one talking to you now, she knows. She knows the waiting does something to you that winning can't. It builds something. It strips something. And what's left is someone who could actually handle the yes. Think about it. If I had gotten this job on application number 3, I would have been grateful, no doubt, but I wouldn't have been ready. I wouldn't have the depth. I wouldn't have the story. I wouldn't have the 3 a.m. moment that forced me to ask, do I really want this? Or am I just tired of where I am? The rejection did something to me that acceptance couldn't. It forced me to get clear, to stop panic applying to jobs I didn't want in cities I didn't want to live in, to stop treating the inbox like it held my worth. I didn't just get a job offer, y'all. I got proof. Proof that starting over at 59 isn't a fantasy, it's a decision. And if I could do this, one woman, one laptop, one God who refused to let me quit, you can do whatever you're scared to start. I'm telling you this because a year ago, I was you. I was watching someone else's breakthrough video, someone else's I got the job, someone else's testimony, and I was happy for them, genuinely. But there was a small, quiet part of me that wondered, is that ever going to be me? Let me answer the question for whoever is asking that right now. Yes. It took hundreds of applications, 14 months, countless rejections, one 3 a.m. almost quit session, one Zumba class I almost didn't go to, one sister who calls me love and refused to let me sit still, and one email. That's the math, y'all. 257 in 14 months, one yes. It only takes one. Your inbox isn't dead. Your age isn't a disqualification. Your waiting isn't permanent. I am living proof. I'm not special. I'm not uniquely qualified. I'm not younger than you or more connected than you or luckier than you. I just refuse to stop. That's the only difference between the people who get the email and the people who don't. They stop. I didn't. So let me ask you, what's the yes you're one more application away from? Now let's get practical because some of y'all are in this exact process. Federal applications, overseas moves, starting over after 50. Here's where I am right now. The tentative offer came in. I accepted it formally in writing. Now I'm in what they call the pre-employment phase. Background investigations, medical screenings, credential verifications. I don't have the firm offer yet. I don't have orders. I don't have a move date. What I do have is a to-do list longer than my arm and a piece I can't explain. Here's what I wish I had known at application number 1, though, that I know now at application number 257. The tentative offer isn't the finish line. It's the starting line of a whole new race. And that race has its own paperwork. I'm organizing documents I haven't looked at in years. I'm scheduling medical appointments. I'm reaching out to references. I'm learning German, slowly, but I'm doing it. And I'm having conversations with myself, with my finances. And I'm asking, am I really doing this? Yes, I really am. And here's what that means for the bigger picture. The Mauritius retirement vision. This job in Germany, it's not a detour. It's a bridge. It gets me overseas. It gets me closer to the life I've been talking about since that very first episode on this channel. Starting over at 59 isn't one decision. It's 1,000 small decisions stacked one on top of each other. And every single one of them matters. Now I want to tell you about something I built for the woman I was 14 months ago. The one refreshing her inbox. The one wondering if God had forgotten about her. The one sitting in silence trying to figure out if the waiting meant she was doing something wrong. I created the Peace Before the Pivot Toolkit for exactly this season. Journal prompts, mindset shifts, practical steps for staying grounded while your life is being rebuilt. Everything I learned in the waiting distilled into something you could actually use. I don't want you to have to figure it out the hard way like I did. If you're still in your waiting season, if you watch this video because you're hoping your email is coming, write the words "it's on the way" in the comments section. Right now the toolkit is 50% off and the link is down below. I was you 2 weeks ago, 7 days ago, yesterday morning even, and I want you to have the tools I wished I had. Before you go, I want to leave you with 2 journal prompts, and I want you to really sit with these. Don't just skip past them. Number 1, what would you do in the first 24 hours after your yes? And what would your answer reveal about what you're actually afraid of? Number 2, what's one door you stopped knocking on because it stayed closed too long? What would it take for you to knock one more time? Sit with those, journal on them. And y'all, part 6 is coming. The background check, the credentialing, because the offer is just the beginning. The leaving, that's a whole different story. Hey, thank y'all for riding this wave with me. If this episode gave you hope, if it made you believe even for a second that your email is coming, share it. Somebody in your circle needs to know that 59 isn't too late, that 257 applications isn't too many, that their breakthrough is closer than it feels. Like, subscribe, all of that. You know the drill. But more than that, keep applying, keep believing, keep your feet moving. Hey y'all, I'm Vanessa, and this is Waves of Change. Remember, you're never too late, and your peace is never too far. Bye now.